So I made two really painful mistakes early on in my business and marketing career that set me back at least a few years in my growth and development, and I think I may just be able to help you avoid them both, so you can save the time it took me to learn this, which was literally a couple years, and I can condense the lessons down for you in just a few minutes. The first mistake was looking at marketing, at business, even at life, as a series of disconnected events rather than as a connected whole. Thinking that one thing, one element, one trick, one tactic, one hack, something like that was going to be all that it took to break through and finally be heard above the noise. I often see this in my clients and students when we first start working together, this idea that there's a simple hack or trick or a way to beat the algorithm, and as soon as they get it, everything will just magically work out instantly. For me, the result of this mistaken belief was chasing one shiny object after another, following fake idols and artificial gurus, each one promising bigger and better things than the last one, and each one failing to deliver with ever greater disappointment and an increased level of skepticism about this whole marketing industry in general. Somehow though, I kept the faith in those early years and managed to find a few really good people to follow, and I kept collecting these tidbits and pieces of random information that I hoped I would somehow, someday, and in some way be able to piece into something that somehow made sense, something that worked. And it did eventually work. The problem though is that this is a very inefficient way to do things, especially when it comes to marketing, because with marketing, we're not trying to put together a simple 10-piece puzzle. Our puzzle has thousands of pieces. Tens of thousands, maybe more. And the picture isn't on the box, and it only appears after we've put in the time and the money and the energy to finally start putting the right combination of pieces together. You see, marketing is about communication and about dealing with people and the market, and people are deep and complex, and the market is always changing. This is why the goal should always be to first acquire foundational knowledge. Rather than going after tactics, you want to focus instead on strategy and create a plan to learn and take action and measure your progress, and then, and only then, start to adopt different tactics and tricks and hacks, because without the overall big picture and the basic understanding of core principles and fundamentals, it's almost impossible to identify which ideas are going to be valuable and which are actually going to help you, and which are just somebody trying to get rich off you by selling you a how to become a millionaire in 30 days online course. This is one of the biggest reasons I believe that everyone in business should learn at least the basics of marketing. Even if you're planning on hiring someone or an agency to do the work for you, you still need to know what's going on. And the principles of marketing are going to serve you no matter what business or what market or what industry you're in. So the first big mistake I made was failing to see the big picture and focus on the fundamentals and getting lost in the minutiae and minor inconsequential details. But the second mistake is a little more specific, and that mistake was that I failed to prioritize the specific causes that would lead to the desired effects that I was after. This one's a little harder to explain, but I believe it's pretty powerful, so let me give it a shot. First, it's important to understand that the way that the world works is through a system of cause and effect. You do something, the cause, and then something happens, the effect. And everything on this planet occurs because of cause and effect. Something has happened, which has caused something else to happen, which has caused something else to happen, and that chain just keeps on continuing through time. The key then is identifying and acting on the right chain of causes that are going to stack up and take you closer to your desired effect, but more on that in just a minute. First, let me give you an example. Let's take something simple like dropping a ball. The cause is dropping the ball, you physically letting go and releasing the ball. The effect is the ball falling to the ground. But there are factors at play here, like gravity, maybe the wind, what type of ball it is, which could influence whether it bounces or breaks. There are also other things, like if you're tired that day and you release the ball a little slower, or maybe even a little faster, which influences where it's gonna land or where it's gonna roll. Or if someone interrupts you and maybe you forget to drop the ball completely, or maybe a dog runs by and grabs it, ruins the whole thing before it even had a chance to get started. Point is that even for something as simple as dropping a ball, there are a ton of factors at play. And as you already know, when it comes to business and marketing, the factors at play are orders of magnitude more complicated. I mean, on the short list of factors that influence your business, we have political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental factors, any single one of which is also made up of thousands of other factors. And this can feel overwhelming, maybe even paralyzing, which explains why so few people ever take action. But the thing is, there's no need to get stuck in the tiny details, certainly not in the beginning. My mistake was that I got stuck spinning in circles, focusing on just an insane amount of potential causes that had little or no chance of leading to the desired effects I was after. So the first thing that's really important here is knowing that everything you do, the cause, is going to have some kind of effect. And when you know that, you can start designing your plan and performing the actions that are most likely to give you the effect that you want. For example, let's say you have a goal to grow your business. Well, there's a number of things you can do, known as the causes. But the odds are good that you probably already know that some of them are going to perform better than others. For example, sending an email to a potential client is probably going to give you a higher likelihood of reward than, say, slacking off all day, binge watching Netflix, or playing video games. Sending the email could result in the effect of a new client or new customer, new sale, whereas the effect of doing nothing is likely going to get you nothing in return. So the big question then is, how do you know what causes you need to deploy to get the effects you're after? In other words, what actions can you take that'll lead you directly to accomplishing your goals? And the best way by far that I've learned comes from modeling others who have done it before me. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. The odds are good that there is someone out there, probably many someones, who have achieved what you want to achieve. So follow them, study them, learn from them, do what they do. And once you know what causes lead to what effects, you can reproduce the results with an almost mathematical level of certainty. When I was first getting started in business, I heard this story that if you took all the money in the world and divided it equally among every single person, within 2 years, all the millionaires would have it back. I thought there was no way this could be true, but now I see just how obvious it is. It's because the millionaires and the billionaires, well, they know the causes required to lead to the desired effects. It's why I'm able to consistently create high-converting marketing campaigns and grow profitable businesses. It's not because I'm super smart or talented or anything like that. It's just because I've spent the time and the money and the energy learning what causes are required to influence, to persuade, and to deliver value, which are unsurprisingly some of the key ingredients to succeeding in business. Now, unfortunately, there is no replacement for wisdom, which comes from knowledge, application, and the resulting experience. This is why those get-rich-quick scams and courses that promise to teach you how to become an overnight millionaire still exist, and people still seem to buy them. It's not because they work, but because they promise a quick fix. Fast, easy, fun, but sadly, not repeatable. And a sad fact about many of these programs is that their success stories are simply a result of statistical probability. In other words, if 1,000 people go through a program, you're gonna get at least a couple people who got results, and you can then use that to prove that it works. And the reason these grand and inflated promises will never work at scale is because the second something becomes easy or replicable by the masses with just a push of a button, the second that everyone would have it. As the saying goes, if it were easy to become a millionaire with six-pack abs, everyone would do it. This is why work is required, knowledge is required, application is required, and trying to get better is required, and is always going to be required. This is the secret to success. Do the right things and do them long enough to get the rewards. So here are the final takeaways. First, you need to build foundational knowledge so you can separate the good ideas from the bad ideas. Then you want to identify what causes lead to what effects by learning from those who have achieved what you want to achieve. And then simply do those causes. Do the causes that lead to the effects. It's simple, but it's not easy. Otherwise, everyone would have it. The best news of all, though, is that it's doable.